Today here in the shop, we're back on FundusTruck. What is FundusTruck? It's a fun duster truck project. What's that mean? Well, we're putting a duster suspension under a tube chassis in a 39 Dodge pickup that I'm building for my wife. In our last episode, we went ahead and designed the upper control arm reinforcement bracing as well as the shock mount. It's all incorporated in. That episode's here if you want to check that out. Today, what we're doing, something a little different. I don't normally do this. Usually when I build one thing, I don't share the duplication. But today, I felt like that was something to share. There are always things you run into when you duplicate. The goal of today's episode, it's not so much to you to see what I'm doing, but rather for you to learn from what I'm doing so that you can apply it directly to what you're doing in the shop. Duplicating work is always a challenge when you need to make two of basically the same thing. So stick around. I'm Mike. You're watching Mike R Shop. Whenever I build something, it's often like happy days around here. We get it done and then we sit on it, Ralph. We sit on it for a day or two so that we can kind of observe and think and look and plan to make sure that we like the design and make sure everything is copacetic, not so pathetic. So I didn't weld anything together. It's just there with clamps and magnets. We're going to pull all that apart and then we're going to replicate it on the other side. So let's get some more angle iron and we'll get our bandsaw fired up and we'll get these pieces knocked out post haste. So we have two pieces of flat stock back here, a little bracket that we made there, or actually cut out of a server rack. We have those pieces of angle iron here, and that's what we need to cut out and make again. This piece here is going to be the trickiest we have three more of those, but that's the trickiest one to duplicate. Everything else should be pretty straightforward. So we'll do the right thing, and we're going to start by cutting our flat bar, and then we'll cut our angles, those three angles, and then we'll leave this part for last. So let me go get some more angle iron out of the warehouse, and we'll get after it. Okay, so one thing I need to think about is the angles. Before I cut all the angles, I need to look at these being installed the opposite way. So they'll be on that side, and so we really need to look at they'll be on the outside of the frame over there like this. So we need to look at our angles and cut those accordingly. So I'm not going to cut those yet. Because I can't mirror image them off of these. I need to think that through. So we'll hold off on that part. So I've got these two cut, and I've got my cross piece cut, which is still laying over there. So we're close on those other than chopping these scalloped angles to match this. So now I want to get my two flat pieces of steel cut up the way they need to be. So my microphones are dying, so I'm going to go ahead and fix that, get them charged up again, and I'll be back when I have some more stuff cut. I got all my pieces cut. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is put this side back together again. Once that's done, then we'll go take the fender off the other side and start assembling that. Remember, there's stuff we need to cut, angles and so forth, but one piece at a time. So I'm going to take real quick, just get this put back together so we always have it as a reference, and then we'll go put the other side together. I have all the pieces cut now. I also have my shock strap mount thing welded up together, so we're getting. It is one of the hardest things I find in making stuff is getting them to match, and I think I did a pretty good job here. a lot of times if I know what I'm going to be making, I'll make 2 of them right away. But this was figuring it out as I go. So I think we figured it out pretty good. So the first thing we're going to do is line up our stuff here, which lines up most excellent, Theophilus. And then we're going to put one of our squeezy thingies down here. Of course, we had to grab the set that's adjusted 20 miles out of radius here. So it is wonderful to have. I don't know how many sets of these things I have now, but sometimes it's still not quite enough, but it's a whole lot better than it used to be. So thank you to my buddy Chris and to my partner in crime for 40 some years, my drummer, Animal, for the squeezy things. Okay, good. Yeah, that's pretty good right there. Okay, that's maybe a little low, so let me get a dimension so we know where we got to be, and then we'll know where we got to be. First time ever in 45 years that I ever caught a shirt on fire grinding. Yeah, I think maybe she added the fabric softener. Yeah, I had flames. It was cool. Obviously, I didn't get the camera on until I got the fire out, but there you go. What I was doing was cutting the little chunk out where it goes over the shock plate. So I'm going to finish that up and try not to catch myself on fire again. And there we go, just like that. We got it all roughed in, just like that one. One thing I noticed is I'm tight here, but I don't have the bushings in here with the proper spacers, and this one's way forward. So the whole control arm right now is forward. So once that gets pulled back where it belongs to be, it should be fine. It should be dimensioned properly from the front of the frame, but we've got to check all of that. And nothing is permanently in here yet. My objective and my goal is to take all of the, I got to cut my angles here yet, but my objective and my goal is to build this whole unit, upper control arm, mount, wedge, and all of this on the bench, and then bring it back to the car, position it exactly where it belongs to be, and then weld it down. So yeah, hopefully it'll be copacetic and not so pathetic. So, but we have a matching set now, which was my objective today. So other than catching myself on fire, what are my takeaways? What are my lessons learned? I think it went really well. Because I had the other side to use as a template, it went pretty quickly to make all of this. Everything lines up good. My pieces in here, I think, line up well with the inner piece. I still may end up putting one more piece in here to come down just to give this a little bit more strength on this side. So we may bring that up like this and then bring it over. I don't know. I don't think I can get too much reinforcement on there, but I have, this one's reinforced on the outside. This one's reinforced on the inside. I can't put anything in here because of where the adjustment bolts are and everything. So, yeah, what's my takeaway on this? I'm using scrap material, as I've mentioned before, so make sure that your material is the same. I actually had a different piece of angle iron I started cutting, and it was smaller. This was, I think, 1.25 inches, and this is 1 inch, and I wasn't paying attention. So also make sure your thicknesses are the same. That's important. Yeah, there's just all kinds of little nuances in there that you have to be aware of. But what do we have into this as far as money? $20 for the piece of flat 3/16 stock. That's it. So total project cost, I think if I remember right, with the front end parts, the wheel bearings, all of the new bushings, the metal, the paint, probably about $375 into this whole truck right now. So don't tell me it has to cost big money to build stuff. Now, yes, I have a plethora of parts that I can work from. But the bigger picture is be aware of the stuff that's around you, okay? You can get stuff for pennies on the dollar or next to nothing. If I was to go out, originally I was going to look for an S10 chassis for this. I found one. 20 miles from here for $375. So that would have been a great way to go. We would have had more money into this project because we would have had to purchase all the stuff we did for this, for that, brake rotors, bushings, ball joint, all that stuff, right? But so, so we'd still only have like $700 in the project. But there are other things, like I see a ton of old, rotted out Dodge Diplomats, Plymouth Volare 4-door, Fifth Avenue, stuff like that, of that mid 70s up into the mid 80s, late 80s. And they have a little different carriage under the front end. Actually better, it has a transverse torsion bar mount, which is built right all into the K-frame. You can pick those cars up for scrap value, and you got a whole suspension and steering system right there for a hot rod like this. But you got to be willing to think outside the box. My buddy Michael from Ferro Iron and Customs just commented today he's really enjoying this build, especially because it's using torsion bars. It never would have occurred to him to use torsion bars. Why did it occur to me? Only because I haven't. Okay, and that's the goal. We've shifted gears on this project many times, but we're using what we have so that we can really demonstrate old school hot rod techniques that don't have to cost money, contrary to all of the stuff you see out there. I saw something the other day. A guy was talking about a Challenger that he's building, and he's got like 40 grand just in parts. That's fine. No criticism, okay? I'm not criticizing that. All I'm saying is it doesn't have to be that way. We got 3 grand in our 70 Challenger, and it's pretty much everything we need except for a hood and a grill. So it's a matter of capitalizing on your relationships and connections that you have, and keeping your eyes open and looking down for what's laying around your feet, as my buddy Chris says, because most of what's been put together in this shop is exactly that. It's just stuff that's laying around at your feet if you bend your stiff neck and look down for it. So again, please don't think that I'm saying if you go out and spend money on stuff, that's a problem. It's not at all. That's not saying you're doing anything wrong. That's not criticism. But I think a lot of people get discouraged about the hobby because it costs so much. And I'm here to say it doesn't have to. That's what my car shop is all about. All right. I'm not going to get the next phase done on this today. I'm feeling a little burned out. But I need to gel on this for a while. Again, I need to sit on it, Ralph. I need to sit on it, Potsy, and just make sure everything is copacetic. So, all right, that'll do it. We'll catch you on the next one. We have channel memberships for as little as $5 a month, where you get access to behind-the-scenes content and all kinds of extra bonus stuff and messages from me. And, well, there's just cool stuff over there. So check that out. And one more thing, I don't want you to forget. It's the most important thing here at my car shop. Whoa!